everybody, welcome back. And today what we're going to do is we're going to rename our layout tab and we're going to copy it so that we have 2 or 3 layout tabs. Okay, so what that means is we're adding additional sheets to this cabin drawing. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to have a sheet for the first floor plan, we want to have a sheet that shows the electrical wiring, and we want to have a sheet that shows the furniture layout. Okay. Alright, so let's take a look at what we've got here. Right now we've got the cabin drawing in model space and I have all the layers thawed. So in other words, we see all the layers on the drawing right now are visible. Okay, so let's go to layout 1. And in the last tutorial in layout 1, we did a viewport freeze after we got this drawing into the viewport. So I'm going to activate the viewport and I'm just going to kind of show you what we did for a viewport freeze. I believe we froze the furniture layer with a viewport freeze, and we also froze the 2 wiring layers with a viewport freeze. So that's why we don't see them in the viewport, but we did see those layers in model space. Okay? Alright, so I'm going to double click outside the viewport to go back to paper space. Okay, so what I'd like to do is I'd like to make a second sheet, and in the second sheet I'd like to show the wiring for the electrician. Okay, so I'm going to come down here to the layout 1 tab and I'm going to right click and I'm going to pick move or copy, and that move or copy means to move or copy the entire layout tab. So let's pick on that, and I'm going to pick move to the end. And this is important here. I'm going to check box create a copy. Okay, so let's pick OK and see what happens. Alright, so down here where the layout tabs are, the very last layout tab you can see is a copy of the first layout tab. So let's go there. Alright, and it looks exactly the same. And actually, while I'm here, I'm going to rename this layout tab. So I'm going to right click on the layout tab and pick rename. And I'm going to call this electrical 2 for electrical drawing number 2. Enter. Alright, and while I think of it, I'm going to come over to layout 1 and I'm going to rename that floor plan 1, and that will be for sheet 1. So we've got sheet 1 and we've got electrical for sheet 2, and layout tab 2 doesn't even have a title block in it, so I'm going to actually delete that layout tab. So I'm going to right click on it and pick delete because we don't need it anymore. Okay, so there we have sheet 1 and sheet 2. Alright, so now that I'm in sheet 2, I want to be able to see the wiring symbols and the wiring. So let's double click inside the viewport and we're going to thaw those 2 layers. Okay, now those were frozen in the viewport because we had made a copy of the other layout tab, so it just copied the whole entire layout tab and the layers that were frozen. Okay, I'm going to leave the furniture layer with a viewport freeze, and I think for this, just to kind of make it less busy, let's viewport freeze the dimension layer. Okay, so there we have the wiring symbols and the wiring diagram shown up here for in this viewport. So I'm going to double click outside the viewport to go to paper space, and again you can go ahead and edit the title block and change the description in the title block on some of this here. We could call this cabin electrical plan. Okay, and then we can go ahead and fill in all the other fields. Alright, so I know you know how to do that, so I'm not going to waste time on that. Alright, but now we have 2 sheets. We have the first sheet, which is floor plan 1, and we have the second sheet. Alright, let's make a third sheet. So I'm going to again right click, move or copy. I'm going to pick move to the end, create a copy, okay. And let's go to this sheet. In this layout tab, I'm going to rename it. This is going to be furniture number 3 because this will be sheet 3. Okay, let's double click inside the viewport and let's thaw the furniture layer. Let's viewport freeze the 2 wiring layers. Okay, And there you have it. There's the furniture layer showing in the viewport, and we were able to freeze the two wiring layers. Okay, so I'm going to double click outside the viewport, and again I would just double click on here and call this cabin furniture layout and go through each attribute and update them. Alright, so now we have three sheets. We have the floor plan, which is in layout 1, electrical plan, and we have the furniture layout. Alright, I hope that helps, and until the next tutorial, see if you can give that a try.